Hello, my name is Dr. Denise, and this is this week's A Dose from Dr. Denise. We hope to teach, show, and inspire you how to release your God-given health and life potential. So I wanted to get this video recorded. I've switched up my format of my doses. Sometimes I post a YouTube link of something that's inspired me. Sometimes I post a quote or a book that I'm reading. And so when I post a video, it means that I really have something that I want to share with you that I think will be helpful to you. And this week I want to talk about my dogs and what happens specifically with my younger dog, and then I want to relate that into 4 specific points. So I have 2 rescue animals. One is 1.5 years old that we adopted from the Humane Society at 4 months old. It's a lab mix. His name is Grady. And my second dog was abandoned in our neighborhood at about 12 weeks old. He was abandoned in April, and he's a boxer mix, and his name is Brindle. And I had found a local dog kennel that does open dog play. And so it's awesome. It's a wonderful kennel. And they go there and they play with 30 or 40 other animals in an open environment. And they get a ton of exercise. They get acclimated to other animals. So when I went to pick up my dogs last week, the owner came out and she had a bit of a sad look, and she told me that my younger dog Brindle was not faring well in the environment. She apologized. She said that not all dogs will fare well in this environment, and he was starting to show some behaviors of being extremely hyperactive with the other animals, which could lead to aggression. And I have to tell you that I got really, really upset. And I brought my dogs home, and I immediately went into fear over it. And I started to reach out to the various animal shelters thinking, this was not my problem. Someone dumped this puppy in the neighborhood. I don't need this headache. I don't need this responsibility. Wah, wah, wah. And I was upset, and I was anxious, and I was fearful. But luckily, I waited a full 24 hours before I made any decisions. And so the very first point that I want to share with you is fear is a terrible place from whence to make a decision. I don't know if that is the correct use of the word whence, and I don't even actually know if it is a word, but it's a terrible place to make a decision from when you're in fear. Sometimes we have to make decisions when we're in a fearful state, but it's a very low vibration, and you will typically not make great decisions when you're in a fearful state. And so if you have any major decisions that you have to make in your life, I suggest that you give it a little bit of time before you can get into a state of peace and calm, because you're going to make a better decision. That's exactly what I did. I waited a full day. I realized that my dogs really are excellent dogs. I'm very blessed to have them, and I just needed to find a solution for my problem. Side note, earlier this week I posted a quote from Byron Katie. Byron Katie is one of my new favorite authors, and even though she's been around for a long time, I only recently started reading her work. She has a book called Loving What Is. I highly recommend it. And it was from one of her writings that I shared the following quote, which is, life doesn't happen to you, life happens for you. You don't have to like it, but it's much easier if you do. And so I happened to read that quote this past week, and I thought, all right, if this is happening for me, what can I learn from it? So the second thing, and the second point I want to share with you, is that the universe will typically, I shouldn't typically say, the universe will always provide you the solution to your problem if you're willing to slow down and listen. And so I have been slowing my life down, and I have been listening for a while. And so the solution came quite quickly for me. And it was pretty awesome in that I have a patient that just so happens to be the manager of the Humane Society here, happens to be a dog lover, and happens to be a dog trainer. And so I reached out to her, and I said, I got a suggestion for you. I'll trade you a few adjustments for a couple sessions with my dogs. And that's exactly what we did. And she confirmed for me that I have really excellent dogs. They're great listeners. They're easily trained, but I was probably the one that needed to be more trained than my animals. And so the universe provided that solution, and I was really happy about that. The third thing that I've learned from this is that, we need to take responsibility for the things that we love. And typically when we take responsibility for something, it takes time, money, and energy, all of which my dogs are taking. I have to spend time with them. I have to discipline them. I have to walk them. I have to train them. I have to spend good quality money on their food. I have one that has an allergy, so I've been giving him fish oils. And so my dogs require time, money, and energy. But the payoff is huge for me, especially now because my husband is an hour and 45 minutes away several nights a week. And so I have these two dogs that give structure for me. I love walking them. I walk them miles and miles each day. And in return, they just provide so much love and affection. And I love that. And so anything that you have to take responsibility for is going to take time, money, and energy. So I can think of several things, your children, your work, your health, and the payoff is really big. But taking responsibility for the things that we should take responsibility for is really important, and perhaps that's where we're getting so off course in our country. And the fourth and final thing, and I think maybe this is the most important thing, is that my dogs just teach me how to enjoy life. I love that word, joy. I've shared before that typically happiness has a reason, but joy just is. And our animals are just in a joyful state. My trainer taught me, my dog trainer, Bree, taught me this week that dogs' memories are 3 seconds. And so if they do something that we have to discipline them for, if we wait much more than 3, 4, 5 seconds, they don't know what we're disciplining them for. So it's very important to be in the present moment with our animals. And isn't it true with us human beings? The only moment we have is the present moment. But we're so good. As humans are so good of bringing the past into the present, of looking into the future. What we're not good at is being here in the present moment. And just by spending time with my dogs teach me how to be in the present moment, which is a beautiful thing. And so they are the 4 things that I wanted to share with you this week. Number 1 is that fear is a terrible, terrible place from where to make a decision. Number 2 is that the universe always gives you answers, but you have to make sure that you're listening. Number 3 is that if it's something that you really love and provides you great joy, then you have to take responsibility for it, and that will typically cost you time, money, and energy. And number 4 is that the present moment is all we have. And so the more that we can learn to be in the present moment, and our animals will teach us how to do that, the better your life will be and the more enjoyable your life will be. So have a wonderful week. Peace out, and I'll see you next Sunday.